Happy day, wonderful people. Hope you're all doing good today. Should thank the Lord for this new day. It's beautiful outside here. I hope it's beautiful where you are. I don't know if you heard the news. Recently, Elon Musk got a promotion. There's a little bit of news about AI yesterday. Before I get into that, I wanted to kind of review what we know so far about AI. And if you haven't watched my video about AI, please do so. In a recent video, I mentioned to you that I believe the greatest threat to Americans is the United States government system. And after what I heard yesterday, I'm convinced. Another video that I highly recommend you watch is my video that I did about the nanotechnology that they found inside of our bodies. That video contains an article stating that by 2030, we will all have nanobots inside of us. And Elon came out with a similar statement. His was about Neuralink. Now, my video about the Matrix being Bible prophecy, the prophet Tom House explained to me that Neuralink is based off of the technology in his screenplay. The Matrix was originally titled The Immortals, and this screenplay came to him from God. And if you watch the movie The Matrix, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Even though the movie has been altered greatly, and there's a lot of knowledge that's been hidden from us due to that, much of the Matrix has already come true. So there really isn't much of an argument against the statement that the Matrix is prophecy. Tom Altman shared with me that Neuralink is going to be combined with Siri. And that is how they're going to enslave us all. He also shared with me that the technology for Neuralink, they haven't created it yet. It's all a facade. They're still trying to figure out Neuralink. And Neuralink, that's the tech inside the back of the necks in the Matrix, you know, where they have to plug in. This technology and AI is developing rapidly. So I think it's pertinent that we discuss this. We really need to unite around this issue. I want to talk to you about what was in the news yesterday. Now, we already know that AI has been proven to cause cognitive decline in children, and how it's like Minnesota already incorporated AI into the public school system. So like I said, things are developing rapidly now. So we really need to pay attention to this and start doing something about it. We know about chatbot-related suicides. There's several lawsuits pending right now. AI and children, even though there's mental and physical health risks and a need for regulation, due to the increasing number of AI-related deaths, sparked discussions about the need for stricter regulations and safety measures for AI systems. And that makes sense, correct? Due to President Trump, he is rolling out AI as fast as humanly possible. He is ignoring all the science, all the risks. He doesn't care about all these teenagers who have committed suicide due to AI. There's absolutely no concern whatsoever. In fact, Trump is showing himself to be a complete sociopath. It's really, really disturbing. And if you look up AI regulations in the U.S., the internet will come back with the U.S. currently lacks comprehensive federal regulations for artificial intelligence, but there are ongoing efforts at both federal and state levels to establish guidelines and frameworks for its development and use. Call your state representative and tell them that you do not consent. There's no broad federal legislation specifically regulating AI. However, Several targeted provisions have been enacted, such as the National Artificial Intelligence Initiative Act of 2020, which aims to coordinate AI efforts across federal agencies without imposing strict regulations. The Executive Order 14179, signed in January 2025, directs federal agencies to develop an AI action plan to promote innovation and reduce regulatory burdens. So that is working in the opposite direction. State regulations. In the absence of federal guidelines, many states have begun to enact their own AI-related laws. President Donald Trump is signing an executive order this week establishing a federal framework around artificial intelligence, a move aimed at preempting states from imposing their own laws on the mega popular technology. If you had any question whether or not Trump is benevolent, this should answer that question. There must be only one rule book if we are going to continue to lead in AI, and I do not believe for a second that we are leading in AI. I think that's a lie. Trump wrote on Truth Social on December 8th, "We are beating all countries at this point in the race." And again, why is there a race? This is just like the space race. And I believe that we're lying about this just like we lied about that. But that won't last long if we are going to have 50 states, many of them bad actors, involved in rules and the approval process. So now anybody in any state, any governor or representatives who are trying to pass legislation to protect children and citizens in general from AI, Trump is now calling bad actors. And we know how Trump likes to call names. He loves to call us stupid. Whenever we go against his wicked agenda, he starts with a name calling, like he's a child. He behaves like a child. It's like he has the emotional development of like a toddler. You know, just has a slightly better vocabulary. However, this isn't the first time Trump has expressed an interest in creating a federal rule book. We must have one federal standard instead of a patchwork of 50 state regulatory regimes, he wrote on Truth Social on November 18th. And this is odd because what happened to state sovereignty? I mean, this is completely unconstitutional, and this is like a 360 from what he used to preach, right? He used to preach state sovereignty, and now he's acting like this is... It's like he's borrowing from CCP playbook here. Artificial intelligence covers a massive amount of technology, from taking on tasks that used to require a human's touch to creating the latest viral trends and more. Lawmakers, activists, and others have repeatedly sounded alarms over deepfakes and many other AI applications. And it's funny that he has a picture of Reagan there in the background, because we know Reagan was involved in all that trafficking, the midnight White House tours from boys that were being trafficked. You know, we know about the Iran-Contra, and also the fact that Reagan was an actor. You know, kind of like Zelensky, kind of like Trump. All 50 states, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands and Washington, D.C. have introduced a variety of AI-focused legislation this year. At least 38 states have also adopted around 100 AI measures in 2025, according to the National Conference of State Legislatures. It's also not clear how many lawmakers will support the president's latest push. Hopefully none of them, but we do need to pay attention to who does, because they're complicit. They need to go. When Trump signed his tax and spending bill into law on July 4th, a previously proposed 10-year federal ban on state and local artificial intelligence had already been stripped from it. Just days before, the Senate voted 99-1 in favor of an amendment co-sponsored by Cantwell, Democrat of Washington, and Blackburn, Republican of Tennessee, to remove a 10-year moratorium on state AI regulations from the Republican-backed legislation, which GOP leaders dubbed the Big Beautiful Bill. Cantwell argued at the time that the Senate can't just run over good state consumer protection laws. States can fight robocalls, deepfakes, and provide safe, autonomous vehicle laws, she said in July. This also allows us to work together nationally to provide a new federal framework on artificial intelligence that accelerates U.S. leadership in AI while still protecting consumers. There's no protecting consumers. In this sentence alone, they're telling us what their priorities are, and that is to do whatever they need to do to accelerate U.S. leadership in AI. If they were concerned about protecting citizens, they would have said that first. I think they just throw that in there to appease us. South Carolina State Rep. Guffey told nonprofit consumer advocacy organization Public Citizen that it makes zero sense to remove the state's ability to protect citizens. The group has long monitored federal and private sector efforts to ditch state-level AI regulations. 2 years ago, no one would have thought an AI chatbot would coach kids to take their lives. We sit here today with that knowledge, yet those that took an oath to defend us are considering a moratorium on any AI regulations, regardless of harm, said Guffey, who serves on the South Carolina House of Representatives Committee on AI. According to a Public Citizen news release, this is done in the interest of the world's richest companies and at the expense of our children, and that is absolutely correct. And we see that Trump, this time around, only cares about the rich, which is exactly what Democrats said, and nobody believed them. And if you're a Republican and you haven't realized this by now, I'm very, very sad for you, and I pray God grant you discernment soon, because you're supporting your own demise and the demise of your children. Still, Trump argued in his December 8th post that letting each state come up with its own regulations would be detrimental to the development of AI technology. And it's almost like Trump is AI himself. You know, he's talking as though he is AI. It's really weird. You know, if this was like a sci-fi movie, I think we would find out that Trump is like cloned and he's got an AI system, you know, running his mouth and dictating his policies. Certainly seem that way, wouldn't it? AI will be destroyed in its infancy. I don't even understand what that means. AI will be destroyed in its infancy. In like uppercase, exclamation point. He wrote in his True Social post, you can't expect a company to get 50 approvals every time they want to do something. That will never work. Like this is like the ranting of a madman. 13 hours ago. Trump pledges executive action to counter state AI laws. This is unconstitutional. And the sad thing is if he gets impeached, J.D. Vance just takes over. And J.D. Vance is even less qualified than Trump. J.D. Vance was put into place by Palantir. So what do you think J.D. Vance is going to do? Amy Boss, Vice President of Government Affairs for tech industry group NetChoice, said a patchwork of state regulations would create a compliance nightmare for AI companies. Good. That's exactly what we want. We want to create a nightmare for AI companies, because if we don't, they're going to create a nightmare for all of us. My state rep is alleged of child trafficking. He's a warmonger. You know, I can only imagine where he stands on this, but I'll find out and I'll let you know. This executive order is an important step towards ensuring smart, unified federal policy, not bureaucratic red tape. Secures America's AI dominance for generations to come, says Amy Boss or whatever her dumb name is. The head of Americans for Responsible Innovation, former Oklahoma Democratic House member Brad Carson, in a statement called AI Preemption Politically Toxic, which he said has kept the effort from advancing in Congress. His philanthropic back group has argued for guardrails around AI. So we do have some good ones in office, but not very many, and it doesn't look like we have enough. A draft executive order on state AI laws was first leaked and published by news outlets in November. The draft would not ban state laws on AI, but would instead establish a task force within the Justice Department to challenge state laws. All that money we're going to waste, all those resources, trying to challenge state sovereignty. This is what caused civil war, you guys. It wasn't slavery. It was the oppressive North trying to eliminate state sovereignty that caused the Civil War. The draft would also require the federal government to develop a list of specific AI laws that make their states ineligible for funding or that the task force should challenge, including those that require AI models to alter their truthful outputs or compel certain disclosures from AI developers or deployers. And if they can do that, then states should be able to claim that the government is ineligible for our tax dollars. Because if the federal government isn't going to fulfill their responsibility of protecting citizens, they should be ineligible for funding as well. We should be able to flip it on them. They shouldn't be able to get any of our federal taxes from us whatsoever. We should be able to cut them off. If they can cut us off, we should be able to cut them off. It's ridiculous. See what happened 18 hours ago. Florida proposed AI regulations meet resistance from Trump. Governor Ron DeSantis push to regulate AI has received pushback from President Trump, who plans to clamp down on states that have pursued various restrictions. DeSantis' proposal includes a long list of regulations that aim to protect citizens against deepfakes and explicit material, prohibit state or local government agencies from using Chinese-created AI tools, stop companies from selling or sharing personal identifying information, and more. So that's great. Let's see if he'll continue to stand up to Trump or if he will fold. AI laws in the U.S. Okay, so it was on January 23rd. Trump did sign the executive order removing barriers to American leadership in artificial intelligence, repealing Biden's earlier order on safe and trustworthy AI. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Looks like Biden actually did something right. What does Elon Musk say about this? Now remember that article, scientists claim that by 2030 we're all going to have nanobots inside of our bodies, right? I think we already do, to be honest with you. And how the heck would we know? But anyway, I tested my own blood. I did find nanotubes. I have to test it again because I've been detoxing, and I'm going to do it today. I just hate that finger prick. It hurts. I'm going to do it today, and I'm going to provide you with a video of the sample and see if I still have this disgusting stuff inside my body or not. The numbness in my hand has gotten better. So, I'd like to think that this EDTA detox that I've been doing helps. I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore, you guys. It's so surreal. But in case you didn't watch that video, and I highly suggest you do, the technology that they're using, it mirrors Marvel. This is like one of the biggest franchises in movie history, right? There's the Marvel franchise. It always gave me a bad feeling. Like, my kids loved it. My son made me watch the last two movies. And the first one really upset me. The way that they just wiped out half of the world's population, that really upset me. I didn't like that at all. And I told my son that Like, I didn't like it. I didn't want to watch it. My son actually got emotional. I got really upset. Now, he was maybe 9 at the time. He was young. He was upset that I didn't want to watch it, and that I said I didn't like it. I got this feeling that Iron Man was actually the Antichrist. You know, that he was just playing this Christ-like savior, but he was the Antichrist. And then it was like a couple years later, I associated Elon Musk with Iron Man, like the real life Iron Man. And I've had this feeling that Elon Musk is the Antichrist for a long time. And then when I did my interview with the prophet, Tom
Althouse,
and he shared his knowledge with me, it turns out I was right. I don't know if he's going to be the Antichrist or if he's an Antichrist. I believe he's vying for the Antichrist. And if you pay attention to the news, you'll see that wherever there's injustice, there's Elon Musk. With the situation over in UK, with Robinson, praising him, Elon Musk is like the ultimate social justice warrior. I even saw him in an article regarding the Candace Owens assassination. And then, of course, we have Doge, and now this latest appointment. Anyway, we have, what does this have to do with anything, right? Marvel. Hydra vulgaris is part of the Marvel series. And Hydra vulgaris is what they're finding inside of the mRNA COVID vaccine. And I believe it's in all of the mRNA vaccines. Now, this is a microscopic, either a parasite or a robot. I'm not exactly sure what it's made of yet. And this technology that they have, it's self-replicating. I found all the patents for it. It's real. Just like smart devices being turned into direct energy weapons is real, because I found the patent for that, as well as a scientific article from a scientist warning us about it, about 5G, 6G technology, smart devices being converted into direct energy weapons. And I EMF'd my phone. You all saw that, I hope. My cell phone was emitting tremendously high levels of radiation. I EMF'd Tom Ottman's phone. His phone was emitting high levels of radiation. I guarantee you many Americans' phones have been turned into direct energy weapons. Remember when back in the day, you had a cell phone, you could remove the back and you could change the battery and stuff like that, right? Now they're sealed. All cell phones are sealed. I think that's when they transitioned over to the direct energy weapon technology. And I believe they can turn it on and off at whim, because it only works when you use Wi-Fi or data. And I notice with my phone, like I turn off the Wi-Fi and data all the time. I still get phone calls. The GPS won't work. Text messages won't go through. But I still get phone calls even when my Wi-Fi or data are off. So I don't understand what the heck's going on. But I do know that they have, in fact, turned our cell phones into direct energy weapons. So please test your phone as soon as possible. And get a microscope. Test your blood. Next time your kid gets a scratch, test their blood too. I've kind of informed my kids as to what's going on a little bit. I don't want to terrify them, but I want them to be informed. The world today is actually a really frightening place. It's really terrifying, everything that's going on. But we need to know so that we can detox and we can deter as much of this as possible. And people are saying, okay, let's get into this Elon Musk. Okay, so wait, we have the Hydra vulgaris. They also have super soldiers in the Marvel series. I believe that we have super soldiers today. I think we've had super soldiers for a very, very long time. Did you know that Jeffrey Dahmer, his father was affiliated with the government, and he was having injections constantly being injected something in his rear end when he was a child. I can't help but wonder if he was an experiment, if he was a CIA experiment, if he was a super soldier. But I have no doubt that they have these super soldiers. Let's see. Neuralink. So the latest news with Elon Musk and Neuralink, have you seen this? 12 people now have Elon Musk's Neuralink brain implant. And that was back in September 10th. People implanted with Elon Musk's Neuralink chip can now move robotic arms using only their thoughts, as this device moves beyond allowing people to control computers and smartphones. Neuralink launched to help paralyzed people use their personal devices and regain some mobility using only their thoughts. It's kind of weird, isn't it? It connects a person's nervous system to a device known as a brain-computer interface, which can interpret their brain activity. People think it's like the Matrix, Neuralink's first patient on having a brain chip. And it is like the Matrix because they stole the technology from the Matrix, which is actually the Immortals. The device is still in clinical trials. As of September, Neuralink had implanted its device into 12 people since January 2024. Musk said more than 10,000 people have signed up for Neuralink's patient registry, hoping to participate in trials for the device. If I was paralyzed, I probably would too. I'm not going to lie. It is just way too tempting, but I'm sure it's not worth it. Oh, I just got kicked off the internet. So back in December of last year, Elon predicts 1 million humans will be augmented by Neuralink by 2030. I think Trump's already been augmented. I think Vance has been too. I think Vance was before Trump. Bit rate and patient number will increase hyper-exponentially over the next 5 years. My guess is combined I/O bitrate, 1 MBS, and augmented humans. Less than 1 million by 2030. What the hell who talks like that? My guess is combined I/O. The heck is I/O? Oh, weirdos. These people are weird. I/O bitrate is less than 1 MBS, and augmented humans are less than 1 million by 2030. That's just like... Input, output. Okay, so let's speak English. Musk's comments emphasize the potential for Neuralink in breathtaking terms, a combined input-output bit rate of over 1 million bits per second by 2030. In simple terms, this means humans could interact with technology as fast as we think. This is far beyond the speed of typing or speaking. Neuralink users wouldn't just control devices with their thoughts, they would do so with precision and speed, approaching natural brain function. And this is transhumanism. And what did Bill Gates say? Bill Gates said that our devices are going to be obsolete and we're going to go to a tattoo. Cell phones are going to be replaced with a digital tattoo. What the hell does that even mean? They're mad scientists. They're absolutely diabolical, redefining human capability. If augmented humans become the norm, what happens to those without access to these technologies? They're free. That's what happens to them. They're free. They still have free will. They're still human. Musk's prediction may seem audacious, but Neuralink's track record suggests it's not far-fetched. The world is on the brink of a transformation that could rival the invention of the internet or the Industrial Revolution. As Neuralink accelerates toward this future, the real challenge will be ensuring that we are ready to meet it. The real challenge is making sure that we can detox these nanobots out of our system. That's the real challenge. And we can't rely on our doctors for help here, folks. You can't get a blood test for nanotubes and nanobots. Not that I'm aware of. And this graphene that they're putting in everything, that's a big component of this self-replicating technology. And I had a blood test done. I am getting the results today. I asked them to test for graphene. We'll see if it's on there. I highly doubt it is. So, Elon Musk's new position? Is Elon Musk going to become the world's first trillionaire? I think that would be a really good sign that he's the Antichrist, wouldn't you, if he was the richest man in the world? We know what Jesus says about rich men, rich people getting into heaven. So if you want to change your browser, you can go into Settings, Advanced Settings, and then change your search engine, right, to DuckDuckGo, because they do not use AI, and you should be fine from there, hopefully, because otherwise, if you're using Bing, you cannot opt out of AI. And of course, you know, it says Bezos. So go ahead and type something in, right? So I'm on DuckDuckGo now. And here, look at this. They still want you to use it. So you just do never and then save. All right? That should help you quite a bit. Father, Lord in heaven, we pray for all grieving parents today. We ask that you comfort them and wipe away their tears. Please restore the strength that they have lost all these years. Reward them for the selfless sacrifices they made for their child. Replace everything they lost on this child. Grant them the strength to move on from this tragedy. Let them not lose faith because of this. Do not let their suffering be in vain. Help them find joy again and heal their broken hearts. In Jesus' name, amen.